Hey, good afternoon, PJ. Hope you're doing well.
Same to you. Good afternoon.
Wanted to ask you about leadership at Penn State football right now. You've been pointed to as someone on the rise as a leader. How is that being handled under these circumstances? And additionally, the role of Shaka Tony within the locker room right now. Can you kind of describe that as well?
Yes, I definitely think of myself as a leader, a leader of this team. But when I think about my team, I think about you know the different guys who are leaders too. It's not just myself. We have so many guys who are in leadership positions right now, and I think that's what makes this team very mature and able to handle everything that's going on right now. And Shaka's another guy. He's been a leader. I think he's been a leader of this team since I stepped on campus 2 years ago. For me, he's been a guy I can go to and I can talk to. He's always pointing me in the right direction. It's going to be some tough love with Shaka, but at the end of the day, he's going to have your best interest in heart because he really cares about you and cares about the team as a whole. So Shaka has been a leader of this team, and he will continue to be during the season.
Next question is Rich Garcella, Reading Eagle.
Hi, PJ. Thanks for your time today.
No doubt.
Your background in debate and oratory, I was just wondering a couple questions. What did you think of CJ's speech Sunday at the rally? And do you have any thoughts on Coach Franklin's statement as well?
CJ's speech was beautiful. I think everybody, really wanted to hear what he had to say. When I saw it, because I'm not in town right now, but when I see the video was put out, I clicked on the link as soon as I could get my hands on it. So, CJ, again, it goes back to the leadership on this team. CJ's one of the veterans in the locker room. A guy who has been vocal, and I think it just goes to show you that if guys in locker rooms across this country and Penn State football can start this conversation and lead this conversation, then I think change can happen everywhere because we have so many different diverse backgrounds and guys come from all over the place. And, CJ just being a catalyst to start this conversation, when it's not easy to do so, just speaks volumes to the leadership we have in this locker room.
And how about Coach Franklin's statement? What did you think of that?
Coach Franklin, same thing with Coach Franklin's statement. Coach Franklin's statement, you see a lot of college coaches coming out with their statements, but Coach Franklin is an African-American man. And when you look at African-American coaches, they're put in different situations than other coaches because the color of their skin. So for him to come out and make an impactful statement on a sensitive subject just speak volumes to, people like myself, African Americans in the locker room, because if he can do it, then we can also do it.
Thank you.
Next up is Audrey Snyder with The Athletic. Go ahead, Audrey.
There we go. I think I'm unmuted now.
You're good.
For your time, PJ. I'm just wondering, kind of going off of Rich's question, has Coach Franklin, have you guys met as a team to discuss everything going on? Did the leadership council meet or anything like that?
Oh, we've all met, not just the leadership council. We've all met. We had an open discussion for everybody in the Penn State family, not just players and coaches, but the staff as well. We all sat down this past weekend and just opened the floor up to everybody who wants to say something about this and get everything off their chest. And I think it was really beneficial for us because we were able to take a step back and listen to everyone. And again, it's important that we do it here because if we can't do it in our locker room, then it won't happen anywhere else. So we definitely did have discussion, and I think discussion during this time is very important moving forward.
Next up is Jerry DePaula, Pittsburgh Tribune Review.
Hi, PJ. Thank you very much for your time. I was just wondering, I noticed your family has a lot of ties to a couple other Power 5 schools. What attracted you to Penn State, and why didn't you go to Notre Dame in West Virginia?
West Virginia and Notre Dame are two great schools. I definitely spend a lot of time around both those programs, given that, I do have family ties. But Penn State was just the right choice for me. I'm not my mom and dad. I'm not my brother. I'm a different person, and they understand that. And, you know, that's just what it is. So, you know, when I'm looking at a school, it's going to be different from when they're looking at a school. So, you know, Penn State as a whole, when you think of Penn State, the first thing that comes to my mind always is what I tell people is that, you know, it's been a family from day one. Ever since I've been recruited, the coaches have remained the same. You know, they haven't treated me or my teammates any different from when they were recruiting us to the time we stepped on campus. So, you know, that's important to me, that I have a support system not only at home but when I step on campus. So that's the reason I chose Penn State. And I'm not saying that any of those other schools are bad, but you know, that's Penn State was home for me.
Mark Brennan, Lions 247.
Hey, PJ, excuse me. When people think about coaches, they think X's and O's and recruiting and game stuff. But, you know, Coach Franklin obviously is dealing with a bunch of different stuff now with respect to the pandemic, Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, the protests. How is he doing from a leadership perspective there, and how is he communicating with you guys and maybe even your parents?
Like I said, he's opened the floor up to us. He's taken a step back because, you know, when you think of coaches, you think of leaders who have the voice, who have the attention to everybody in the room, and who are the ones that are always speaking. But Coach Franklin, what he's done, and that's been important for us, is he's taken a step back and he's allowed us to speak our minds. You know, he's, like I said, we had a discussion this past weekend where he allowed anyone to speak if they wanted to. You know, he's reaching out to guys. We're having these conversations. And I think that's what's so important about Coach Franklin, is that, you know, he's going to love us, whether it be the tough love he gives us on the field or whether it's, you know, putting an arm around us when things are difficult off the field. You know, he's always going to be there for us. And it's been the same since, you know, he's been recruiting us. So Coach Franklin's never changed. You know, he loves and cares for each one of us. So, you know, we appreciate him for that.
Next up is Donnie Collins, Times Tribune.
Hey, PJ, you guys have obviously a spotlight on you guys, and especially at times like this. How much work do you guys have to put into finding the right words to kind of express your thoughts and feelings, whether it's CJ's speech or James's statement, and how important is it to kind of set that right tone?
It's very important, because when you're a African-American football player at Penn State, you represent so much. You represent your family's name, you represent the university, you represent the guys in the locker room, but you also represent young African-American kids who aspire to be in our positions down the road. So 20 years down the road, I don't want kids to feel like they don't have a voice. I don't want them to feel like they can't say what they want to say. You know, we do have to walk a tightrope of what we say, but at the end of the day, you know, we are able to voice our opinions, and we can do so. So you know, that's what's important for me when going through all this. I want to be a representative of what to do for kids who want to be in my position, and I want to do it the correct way.
Next up is Nubias Wilborn, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette.
Hey, what up, brother? How you doing, man? Thanks for doing this.
No doubt.
Man, respect, fam. From this week, it obviously has been a tough week, but had there been a moment or two where you've been able to find some joy, some hope? If so, what's that kind of been like?
It has been a tough week. It's been a long week. You know, we have so much going on in this country right now. You turn on the TV, you go on Twitter, you know, it's all over the place, and rightfully so. You know, people are tired of you know, the multitude of injustices that are going on, and you know, I think it's showing, and you know, I have a lot of respect and love for everybody who's out there, you know, doing what they can to really change the culture of this country. So, you know, it is everywhere. Just taking a step back, you know, not being on social media, turning off the TV, and, you know, maybe going to get a workout and just to get my mind off things, because it is everywhere, and I'm able to have a conversation with my family as well. So, you know, it is difficult, but, you know, I'm doing things to keep my mind busy, working out, talking with my family. But, you know, like I said, you know, I'm not going to shy away from what's going on, because we have to face it if we want to change it.
John Sauber, Center Daily Times.
Hey, PJ, thanks for the time. I want to go back to last week when Aeneas had that incident happen to him in Cincinnati. What was your reaction when you found out about it, and what was your message to him to sort of, let him know you were there for him?
When I first saw his tweets, I just wanted to make sure he was all right. He was safe. I think that's what a lot of guys around the team did when we first heard of the news. We reached out to him, made sure that he was, in the correct mind space, because when that does happen, it takes a toll on anybody, no matter who you are. So, we all comforted him. We allowed him to speak on what happened. We made sure he was okay. And then, what was your second part of the question, sir?
What was sort of your message to him and letting him know that you were there for him, and how did you sort of back him up there?
Oh, like I said, just talking to him, whatever he needs from us, guys going on Twitter, supporting him and just letting them know that we're here and we're going to always have his back, no matter what. That's what a family does. No matter what happens to you, we're always going to have your back and love you. So, I think we made that message very clear to him through social media, and I think people were able to see that support that we gave him. So he moved forward from it. That's just what happens in America, and it's a sad part. But I think he handled the situation very well, and he's going to continue to move forward. He's out there, facing the problems that we're going through right now. So just having that incident, I think it really opens up a lot of people's minds that it can happen to everyone. No matter if you're a Penn State football player, it happens to everyone. So I think us seeing that and him seeing that, it really opens our eyes and allows us to grow and allows us to talk about it.
Next up is Frank Bodani, York Daily Record.
Hi, PJ. Thanks for your time today. Good to talk to you. And you mentioned Shaka at the beginning of this call and his leadership since you've been there. Can you talk just a little bit more about how he is unique as a leader, how exactly he gets his message to guys, what the impact is, and how that's helped you?
Oh, yeah. Shaga's from a rough place in Philly. I think a lot of us know that. His upbringing was different from mine. I'm from a suburb of Baltimore, so I didn't have to grow up facing the challenges that he did. But I think that's what kind of made him. Shaka, I got so much love for Shaka. I'll give you a story. It was last summer, and doing pull-ups for bigger guys is difficult. So they bring out the bands for us to do pull-ups, and I was going to do my pull-up, and Shaka walks over and says, "No, you don't need the band. You can do that pull-up." And I'm like, and at first I'm like, "Nah, bro, I've never done a pull-up," and he's like, "Nah, I'm not gonna allow you to do the pull up with the band right now." So he takes the band off, and I'm like, well, "All right, I gotta do my pull ups." So there's no band. I get on the bar and I do 8 pull ups. So that just goes to show you that Shaka he cares so much about who you are and wants to develop you. And he does have tough love. He's not always gonna tell you what you want to hear. He's going to tell you what you need to hear in order to improve. And I think that story just resembles the type of guy he is.
Peter Terpstra, WTAJ.
Hey, PJ. Sports can bring a variety of different people together, whether it's different races, different backgrounds, different upbringings. How important has sports been in your life in experiencing other people's stories, and how has that shaped your worldview?
Sports has a huge impact on my life. The impact on my life, you just can't measure it. I've been able to meet so many different people, from so many different places, so many different races, and just when you bring a group of guys together, no matter if it's basketball, football, soccer, whatever it may be, you're able to see what you're not used to. Like I said, I'm from a suburb in Baltimore, but when I'm in the team environment, I get to see what guys are like from Philly, what guys are like from Wisconsin, what guys are like from Atlanta. I get to see the many different things, and it just brings you so much closer and makes you realize that who you are and what you represent. So many guys have that same mindset and where we all come from. But that's just what makes sports so great and so impactful. When you bring so many group of guys together, you're able to learn so much, and I think that really shapes who you are as a man and throughout the years.
Next up is Joe Giuliano, Philadelphia Inquirer.
Hello, PJ. Thanks for the time. We really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned the meeting last weekend. What was your message to the team about what you see, what's been going on, and what was the most compelling message you heard from a teammate?
You know what? I can't give you just one. I as much as I do want to give you one statement that was said that was impactful. It wasn't just one. It was the many different ones that you heard, and it wasn't just, like I said, there were many people in that meeting. It wasn't just football players and the coaches. It was our staff. So it included Caucasian women, African American men, white men. It included so many different people, and just that the floor was so open for everybody to discuss, and people were so comfortable, but people were also able to voice, what they felt. It was just a beautiful thing to see, because we're always so worried about football. We're always so worried about what's going on in our life, but we take a step back and we really see what's going on around us and how we can change everything. I think that was the main message of what was going on, that we can make a difference. And I think when people say they can't, I think it's not true. I think we can make a difference if we're able to have these discussions, if we're able to implement plans and go out in the community and make change. Then that's what's really going to help us moving forward, as not only as a program but as a country. And I think that discussion was just so vital, and that first step of doing so. So I don't think it was just one statement that was said.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Next up is John Petishnock, HappyValley.com.
Hey, PJ, appreciate your time and hope you're doing well.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, thanks, PJ. Hey, earlier you called Penn State home. I wanted to ask, outside of football, what do you enjoy the most about being a student athlete at Penn State?
I would say the love and support from everybody. When you think of football players, everybody has their perception of us and what they think, and truth be told, it's not always going to be positive. But when I'm on Penn State's campus, and just the amount of not only the respect, but the love that the community, the teachers, the staff members, everybody just has for us, and they really care about us. I think that's my favorite part about it, because when you go to different places, maybe the teacher doesn't really like football players, or maybe the community members and the students are just, just shut them out. But here at Penn State, they don't do that, and I've never had a situation. I don't think my teammates have either, and that's just what I really enjoy, because you can go out, you can go downtown, you can be in the classroom, and teachers are going to show you the love and care and respect that not only the coaches give, but everybody gives to us. So I think that's what I really enjoy about Penn State.
Next up is Nate Bauer, Blue White Illustrated.
PJ, with everything that's going on at this point, how much would you value being back in the physical presence of your teammates in State College, and how eager are you for that opportunity whenever it does come?
I'm so eager. The day they do announce, whenever we can go back, I might run back. I might not even drop back. That's just how happy I am to be back with my guys. And I think it would be nice to be with them during this hard time, because everybody's experiencing it. Everybody's seeing everybody's seeing what's going on in the country, and it's truly not a good time right now for us. But we are gonna, things are gonna change. But to be with my teammates right now would be important, because you want to feel that positive energy. You want to feel that love and that connection we have as brothers. Just to be in that, being together would be very important for us, because I think, as individually, some guys might feel that, they're not safe. They're not in a good place. And if they were with us, we would be able to comfort them. So We're not together right now, unfortunately, but when we do get together, we're going to continue having conversation. We're going to continue loving one another. And when that day does arrive, we're going to continue with this to get this thing rolling. So.
Got time for 3 more questions. Ben Jones, statecollege.com.
PJ, it seems like every year something like this happens and it becomes acceptable for athletes to talk about stuff outside of sports. And then after a while, people go back to expecting you to just talk about sports. Do you wish it would change? Do you feel like there's an opportunity here to maybe make these sorts of conversations more of a year-round thing rather than, only when something bad happens?
Yeah, that's one of the things I was talking to my family about is I don't want this to just be a 1 week or a 1 month thing. I want this thing to be all year round. I want us to be talking about, I want us to be, doing stuff in the community. What can we do to change things? I want us to never forget this feeling that we have right now, because it's so important. When you have tough times bring change. Easy times don't really bring change. So I think it's important. It sucks that we have to go through this, but it's important that we remember this feeling we're having, and we continue to move forward as a country, and just put ourselves in the best position to be a country where unity is key.
Next up is Mike Gross, Lancaster Newspapers.
Hi, PJ. Good afternoon. When do you have any sense of, you said you're not in State College, do you have any sense of, are any of your teammates in State College? Do you have any sense of when you're going to be getting back? Because at least in theory now some schools are starting to get back to voluntary workouts and stuff. Do you have any sense of what's going on for you guys?
We've definitely had a conversation with scenarios of going back. Nothing has been put in place. No dates have been given to us. Nothing is set in stone right now for us. Our guess is only as good as y'all's. So, nothing is set in place for us. So we're right now, we're just waiting to see. Like I said, I'm at home, I'm training, I'm working out. And when the day does come, we'll all fly back to campus.
Our last question goes to Evan Patrick, Daily Collegian.
Hey, PJ, thank you for your time. I want to ask you about one of the new graduate assistants, Deon Barnes. I know there's been a lot of turnover since the end of last season, but how much communication have you had with him? How much have you been able to work with him? And what does he add to the coaching group on defense?
Definitely, we got to check. Deon came, I believe, at the beginning of the spring semester. So we got to work with him throughout winter workouts. It was a brief period, but we got to work with him a little bit. He's definitely been a huge part moving forward for us as a coach, because he's not too far removed from his playing days as well. So he's a younger guy. He's a guy we can go to and talk to about football, about life, or about whatever. So he means a lot to us. I definitely think he's going to help us out as a D line. I believe he was a former high school coach, so he does have a coaching background, and I know he wants the best for us. Just having conversation with him thus far. So, I'm excited for Deon.
All right. Thank you for joining us, PJ, and everybody. Thanks for being with us today.